If you ever smacked a girl on the ass without her consent, you committed sexual assault. And that's how normalized it was because we didn't even think about it in that way.
Part of that investigation led me to a website where I came across a profile user who had uploaded almost a dozen videos of women who appear to be unconscious and being sexually assaulted.
He was charged with property damage and charged with grievous bodily harm, and he was found guilty, and he was ordered to pay his ex-partner £150, but he was ordered to pay the owner of the BMW £818.
This is a systemic failure. This is a systemic failure, and I use the word failure lightly because the system isn't actually trying to prevent this from happening. You know what really annoys me? What really annoys me is hearing men constantly talking about it goes both ways, it goes both ways. And on so many levels, it doesn't go both ways, but on one level in particular, it's not even close. Like it's a landslide. And there are things like I can safely say they literally it's never happened. It just never happened. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of the stuff that men say goes both ways. Women do actually, they do the stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? Like men will be like men, cheating. Women do that too. And I'm like, yeah, women do cheat. So yeah, like a lot of women cheat, So okay, cool. It's not equal, but okay, fine. Right. I think twice as many men cheat than women. By all estimations, there is no ironclad science or data on this. Around 30 some odd percent of men cheat in marriages, around 20 some odd percent of women cheat in relationships. I mean, in marriages, but I think in relationships, it's women cheat are relatively around the same, but men cheat about 50% of the time. Like when you remove marriage from it, men cheat more. But when you remove marriage, women don't cheat anymore. They cheat exactly the same. So anyways, there are so many examples of things that men and women do that, it's like women do them, men do them. Okay, right? But even in those discussions, we're not in the same ballpark, right? Violence, not even the same. But stories like this, the one that I'm about to share with you guys, literally, I don't think any woman on the face of the planet is doing anything like this. Literally, like I'm not even playing.
Good evening. Police say more alleged victims have come forward after they released the identity of a Hamilton man facing shocking allegations of sexual assault against unknowing women. Before we tell you any more, a caution: these details can be difficult for some to hear. CTV's investigative journalism unit W5 say they notified Hamilton police about Brian Hayward after his name came up in an investigation into an alleged online network of men who appear to be drugging women and secretly recording sexual assaults. Eric Viano spoke with that journalist today and has more on the story.
The level of depravity and evil. This isn't just about drugging and raping women. It's about humiliating them. It's about hurting them. In some cases, sexually torturing them.
For months, CTV's W5 investigative correspondent Avery Haynes says she's been infiltrating an alleged online network of men around the world who appear to be drugging and sexually abusing women. The assaults uploaded online.
Part of that investigation led me to a website where I came across a profile user who had uploaded almost a dozen videos of women who appear to be unconscious and being sexually assaulted. In one of the videos, a syringe was used to inject a woman who already appeared to be unconscious.
Haynes reported what she saw to Hamilton police. Then last Friday, they arrested 36-year-old Brian Hayward. He's facing multiple charges, including sexual assault, voyeurism, distribution of intimate images, and possession of several controlled substances, including GHB, which is known as the date rape drug. Police said they had identified one victim when the charges were laid. Police say Hayward may have contacted his victims through online dating sites.
These men are brazen. They're not afraid, in some cases, to show their faces or the faces of their wives and girlfriends, women who do not know that they are in effect, porn stars within this network.
Police have not commented on these details, and the allegations have not been tested in court. Police say there may be additional victims of Hayward, including those who may not even realize they have been assaulted. They say more victims have come forward since yesterday, but cannot specify the exact number. Now, as this is before the courts, criminal lawyer Ari Goldkind says a sexual assault case involving online evidence can get complex.
Different than just a he said, she said, which is basically two people getting into a witness box. When you have a treasure trove of electronic information, it really makes the prosecutions and the defense of those charges much more complex and much more difficult at times. You look at what are called breadcrumbs or metadata. You can often get very technical when a phone is extracted. You also want to look at the history or the communications between the alleged perpetrator and their victim. So you often have a very significant amount of evidence being given to you on a thumb drive or a hard drive, and it's your job to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Meanwhile, Haynes says her investigation into the alleged network of men drugging and sexually assaulting women continues. She says the men involved communicate with each other about how to keep their crimes a secret from their victims.
We have cases that we're following in Germany, in Switzerland. It's safe to say that this is a very, very large international network.
CTV's W5.
Like, I don't know what to tell y'all, but that's not something that I've ever heard of women doing. It's just, I mean, between this case and the case of the French woman, in the case of the 60,000 men that are, in the rape chats or what, like, this is like a problem I could say exclusively is a man problem. Like it is literally like a problem that only men are responsible for. This is an example though. This is just an example of how things actually don't go both ways, because what the men who say that everything goes both ways, what they don't actually acknowledge is for a system to allow these types of men, for a system to if these men can reach this point, that means that there is a systemic failure. Right? It's not a one-off. It's not a natural thing. Like, I don't care what anybody tells you that this is how men are, like this is how we are or whatever. Naturally, you're lying, you're wrong. I don't care what you say. It's unhealthy, it's unproductive. This is a systemic failure. This is a systemic failure. And I use the word failure lightly because the system isn't actually trying to prevent this from happening. So I can't really call it a failure in that regard. It's not as if the system is like, oh, there are these things that could crop up and we need to stop them. That's not what the system is doing. The system doesn't really care about it until somebody recognizes it. Like, if you think, what I'm saying is, let me say this bluntly. And this is no shade to the investigator, the journalist who uncovered this, that very talented woman. This is no knock on her. She still did her job, and she still had to be very good at her job. But if you mean to tell me that there isn't and aren't people in our governments that already know of these men, that already know what they're doing, and they're not doing anything about it, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, and I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy when it comes to this stuff. That's not even what I'm on. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm just being real. I really am. And furthermore, if there isn't a person or a group of people in our government that don't know that there are thousands, hundreds, tens of thousands of men in these chats and doing this stuff, then that is that directly makes my point. It's a direct reflection of a systemic failure, because how don't you know that? of all, what are you watching for? If you're not watching for shit like that, what the fuck are you watching for? But I know that there are men, you know, in all of these government positions and people in these government positions and these apparatuses that know that these things are going on and they're turning a blind eye to them. And then it takes for a citizen or somebody pretty close to it, a journalist, she's a citizen, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like just a lay person, a person that doesn't really have any, you know, reason to be investigating this stuff, to shed light on this. And then they go, okay, now we have to do something. When their hand is forced is when they actually, you know, take note of it. Right. But most of the time, they don't really give a fuck. They don't really care. And the way that these men became, the reason these men became the people that they are is because of our system. That's what I'm saying. So it's twofold, quote unquote, systemic failures. That's what I'm saying. The system created the monster, and it also turned a blind eye to the monster and let the monster roam free, unchecked, for God knows.
So women being second class remains the issue, doesn't it? Even if something comes to the fore which is atrocious, people go, well, we will get round to it, but not yet.
Yeah, it's not a priority.
It's not a priority.
The best way that I know to really explain what that means for it not to be a priority is that there was a case recently that went to court where a woman she'd fled an abusive relationship and her ex had tracked her down to her local gym. He'd found her, he waited for her in the car park, he threw her against a BMW and he beat her so badly that she had to go to hospital, she had broken ribs, and he was taken to court and he was charged with property damage and charged with grievous bodily harm, and he was found guilty and he was ordered to pay his ex-partner £150, but he was ordered to pay the owner of the BMW £818. And that is how that priority is built into our institutions.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly like she said at the beginning, women are treated as second-class citizens, so they have limited protections, if any. And people don't care about what's happening with women or what's happening to women until it becomes like, all right, well, we got to do something because we have to keep up the facade as if we're in control of this stuff or we're protecting, you know, or whatever the case may be, because they don't want the public backlash from that, right? That's when they care. That's when they care. That's when they pay attention. But the institutional failures, quote unquote, like I said, I'm using that failure word very loosely. It is, she said it better, it's built into our institutions. The lack of protection for women is built into the institution. That's the reality. The lack of protection for women is built into the institution. That's it. That's how you get to a place where 60,000 men could be roaming free in a rape room, where they make video games about going around raping your mother, raping your grandmother. You know, that's the whole game, where men are on camera raping their wives, raping their girlfriends, drugging them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole thing. How do you think we got here? That's what I want men to understand. Like, really think about that. How do you think we got here? If you think it goes both ways, then you would have to show me the institutional influence. You would have to show me how the institutions favor women, how they don't protect men, how our society teaches women to abuse men, to manipulate men, and tell men it's okay. You show me that and I'll believe you. Show me that and I'll believe you.
If you ever smacked a girl on the ass without her consent, you committed sexual assault. And that's how normalized it was, because we didn't even think about it in that way. Growing up, you young, junior high, high school, you see a girl, smack a girl on the ass, ha, it's funny. To the males, it's funny to us. To her, it is, no matter how many times I tell them to stop or I tell them no, it's just gonna keep happening. It's crazy looking back because it was just so normal. Like, it was a very boy thing to do. You know what I mean? And we looked at it as harmless, but I never had to prepare for school and get mentally prepared for somebody to touch me unwarranted. I've never had to deal with that. And even like you know, we used to have like nut checks and we used to smack other dudes on the ass and shit like that too. But that was a game we was all in on and we participated in. You know what I mean? That was just like some goofing around, some goofy shit. But when it's a woman, it's different because that. Well, actually, it's not different. It's not different.
He clocked it at the end. No, but he was right though. It is a little bit different because they smack me, I smack them, I nut check them, they nut check me. The women aren't smacking our asses back, right? And at any point in time in that game, now I know the societal pressure is you can't really show them that as a boy. You are pressured to play those games even if you don't want to. But the pressure is like if you say like if I nutted up on them like nigga, then they would stop. Or I had to get down with somebody or whatever, then they would stop. But I could get them to stop. You know what I'm saying? But like with the girls, they can never get us to stop. And when I say us, I mean them, because I wasn't smacking girls on their ass. I ain't gonna even hold you. I include myself in a lot of shit, but I ain't about to do it if I didn't do it. Like I never smacked no girls on the ass unwarranted. That wasn't my thing. I didn't touch girls or women when they didn't ask me to touch them or they didn't want me to. You know what I'm saying? Like that was never my thing. Y'all look. I am. It is official now. I am a public figure. I will say, I got over 100,000 subscribers and followers. I get millions of views now, and a lot of people who know me personally see my videos. So when I say stuff like this, I want you to keep in mind that girls, women that I knew when they were girls, I grew up with them. They see my videos. So I'm saying this knowing full well all my friends are going to see this and all my family's going to see this. I never was in on that type of shit. I always thought that shit was weird my whole life. As a young boy, I thought that was weird. I was never taught about consent or anything like that. Right? I just always thought that was strange. Always. Still do. But the point is, what he's saying, it goes right in line with exactly what we're talking about. It starts off with smacking girls on the butt. It's so normalized. He said it's just a boy thing or whatever the case may be. You can call it that, whatever. I'm with that. Boy, man thing. Men not recognizing or not respecting bodily autonomy from anybody, boys or girls, men or women. That is a almost exclusive male issue. Almost exclusive to men. I swear to God, y'all. I swear to God, that is almost exclusively a male issue, right? Now, I will acknowledge child abuse. I will throw that in there. Fine. You got it. You got it. SA, children. Yep, you got it. Women do that too. They do that. But the numbers, when you actually add up all the numbers, it's not even like women are doing it a fraction of the time versus men, a fraction of the time, right? But to my original point, when I was talking about rape rooms and playing video games where you run around raping everybody and you know what I mean, men, drugging their spouses and girlfriends and then essaying them on cameras, that is something that only men do. Only men do that to women. Only men do that to women and men. Show me the rooms. Show me, find them. Find them. Find me the rooms where the women are in there 80, 90, 100,000 deep, fantasizing about raping their men. Find them. Find them. I want to go in there. I really do. I want to see it. I'll be shocked. I'm shocked by the men doing it, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But not to say I'm like, it's par for the course for men, but it's still disgusting. If that, I think that's more what I'm disgusted by it. Won't say I'm shocked. I'll be honest with y'all. When they be talking about the numbers and it be like 60,000 men, I'm like, that's globally, that's not that many men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's way more men out there that want to be in those spaces and just have never thought about it. And they don't find them necessarily, but they would be if they came across it, they wouldn't have any problem with most of that shit in there. Way more than 60,000 globally. Maybe 60 million. 60,000, no, maybe 60 million though. But it just is very frustrating to keep having these discussions and it circling back to women do it too. They don't. This is the blame game. You guys talk about not playing the blame game. The blame game is a necessary game to play because somebody is at fault. Jesus Christ. Yes, we're playing the blame game and the men are losing. We are to blame. We lost. Yeah, I'm playing the blame. I don't know why people like, oh, I want to play the blame game. Yeah, only people who are fucking guilty don't want to play the blame game. Fuck that. Fuck that. We're men or we're responsible. Yeah, no, we're responsible. I don't care. I don't want to hear nothing else about how it goes both ways and women. You cannot find women doing this type of shit. You just can't. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And yeah, it's a competition. It's a blame game. Yep, all of that stuff. Men are better at it. Men are more willing to do it. Whatever you want to say. I don't care. But men are 100% responsible for things like this. 100% responsible. It does not go both ways. No, I'm done. We're not doing it anymore.